So today's article comes from Time magazine, and it's an article about the use of mask, and the protagonist of the article is Man. But our target word is located not in the first paragraph, but down there on the fourth, when it says, man also feels the stigma at her workplace. So stigma at her workplace, what is it actually? Stigma is actually a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, person. A mark of disgrace, so it's something negative. It sounds. The stigma of having gone to prison will always be with me. Stigma is a mark of disgrace, and in Merriam-Webster it says it's a mark of shame or discredit. Shame, disgrace is a mark, the stigma. And in Longman, it's also a strong feeling that being in a particular situation, being bad, being ashamed of. So it's the stigma of alcoholism, stigma of mental illness. It's something to be ashamed of. It's kind of disgrace, shame, discredit, that is. So let's look at some more examples here. The stigma of alcoholism, or the stigma attached to single parenthood. If you come from a single parent family, there is a stigma attached to that identity. The stigma of being unemployed, being very difficult to cope with. So it's a mark of shame, it's a mark of disgrace. Here is a very usual usage. The stigma attached to the stay-at-home moms, as if she hasn't a brain between the ears. So it's a mark of disgrace. Kind of stereotype, but a negative one. Stigmatize. Now I'd like to move on to the verb form, stigmatize. Mind you, it can be IZE or ISE, and is usually used in the passive form, stigmatize, in a disapproving way. To treat someone unfairly by disapproving of him or her, that is to stigmatize. The verb. The key point here is you do it unfairly. Example, people shouldn't be stigmatized on the basis of race. So if you come from Asia, you shouldn't be stigmatized just because of the fact that you come from Asia, for example. In the passive form again, if someone is stigmatized, they are unfairly regarded as being bad or having something to be ashamed of. Negative, unfairly, bad, to be ashamed of. In the passive form, to be stigmatized. Example, children in single parent families must not be stigmatized. They must not be labeled as bad. Okay, people may feel stigmatized by any psychiatric problems, psychiatric diagnosis. They are often stigmatized by others as lazy and dirty. So again, there's something like a label, like a stereotype. So here are some synonyms. You find brand, to be labeled or to be mocked, to be denounced. Quite a negative word. So stigma, stigmatize, comes from the article from Time magazine about face masks. So she feels the stigma at her workplace just because she wears a face mask.